Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista from Hebert's Down Home. I'm going to answer a few Q&A questions for you today. So this setup may look a little bit familiar from Monday. Yes, it is the same setup. It was already set up out here. I was already dressed nicely, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to jump on there and answer some of those Q&A questions that you guys have been asking. So I wanted to get it all done quickly, you know, multitasking mama. It's rest time, and you know, we don't waste a minute of rest time because that is like gold around here. And actually today, mama wants a nap. So I'm gonna get this done, and instead of changing my shirt and changing my location, I already have this all set up. So I hope you forgive me this time. It's gonna be the same exact backdrop, but here we go. The Mrs. and the Mommy asks, how do you handle criticism if you receive any? We only have 3 children currently and quote, should be done. We don't feel done though, and we feel the Lord is calling us to more children. But in today's day and age, that's weird. I agree. In today's day and age, it is weird. Now, I personally believe that we are a larger than average family, and we haven't hit large yet. I don't know, I might feel differently when we fill up our van and have foster kids and we have even more kids. 6 to me feels larger than average, but we haven't hit large yet. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Now, as far as receiving criticism, that was your question. I haven't received a lot of criticism straight up to my face. We do have some family that is perplexed by our large family. They've been kind, but I know that they don't get it, and that's okay with me. I think if we're following where the Lord wants us to be, we're probably going to be a little bit weird in today's day and age anyway. So I guess I just ignore it, and we've gone on and just listened more to what we feel like God is saying than what we feel like others will think. And I've been pleasantly surprised for the most part. Our friends and family are all very small, average families. Our church, we are definitely by far the biggest family with the most kids, and there are no other large families in our church currently with as many small or as many children as we have, I should say. So it does sometimes feel kind of isolating because obviously we live a little bit of a different life with this many kids than most do, but I'm okay with that. I guess at some point I crossed over from being worried about what other people thought to just not really caring that much anymore, and knowing that I was where God wanted me to be, and that I love my big family, and that I wouldn't trade it for the world, even though it's weird and we get strange looks in the store and things like that. I don't care. I think it's great. I love it. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but I just encourage you and your husband that decision is between you guys and God. So if you're really feeling that call, don't worry about what other people are going to think, and you may be very pleasantly surprised at how much support you receive. So that's my answer to your question. Thank you so much for asking that though, because that is something that comes up, and it was something that came up for me too as we were growing our family. I just thought, oh, people are just going to look at us like we're weird, and they do, and that's okay. So Teresa asks, what do you do for weekday lunches? And I am really challenged by prepping food to take in the car when we're out for the day during lunch and dinner hours. And there's only 3 of us. How do you guys handle that? Teresa, thanks for your question. Teresa is a longtime viewer, and I always appreciate her comments and questions. So our lunches are typically a rotation that's the same pretty much every week. So I'll just go through our rotation, what it is right now, and I kind of mix it up on occasion. But on Mondays, we typically do like hot ham and cheese sandwiches on homemade buns. My oldest daughter makes the buns. I do not. I'm the one who taught her originally, and then I've passed on the torch with that. So it's really nice to have those homemade buns. So I do hot ham and cheese on homemade buns. Tuesdays, I make quesadillas. Actually, you know what? Most of this I'm saying I make, but my older 2 really enjoy making lunches for us. So they make the majority of the lunches. So they do quesadillas on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we throw in some baked potatoes for everybody. Thursday is PB&J Thursday. Fridays, they usually do something with hot dogs, or turkey dogs really is what we typically use. So we'll do like pigs in a blanket, which is like wrapped in a crescent roll, or turkey dogs on a bun, or sometimes we'll throw them in some baked beans, and some of the younger kids really love that. Saturdays for lunch is mac and cheese, yum yum, but the kids really like that for a treat. Sundays for lunch, we always do taco salad. That keeps us out of the drive-thru. It's something that everybody kind of likes. It's taco salad if we make it one way, you know, with the chips on top, or some of the kids don't like the taco salad, so we call it nachos, and we flip it over and the chips go on the bottom and then they'll eat it. So, you know, whatever works for you. But that is sort of our lunch rotation. Now, for lunches on the go, a couple of things. One of our favorites for lunches on the go is what we call a snack lunch, and it'll include things like hard-boiled eggs, maybe some peanuts, applesauce, and during the summertime I do keep some of those individual servings of applesauce on hand so I can throw them into lunches, really easy lunch boxes, and off we go. So anything kind of snacky we would consider part of a snack lunch. They might do some snack crackers with cheese and maybe some little sausages or something like that in there. Any combination of those things that we have on hand, that's what we'll do for a snack lunch to take on the go. One other thing I do for lunches or dinners on the go, or even quick grab and go for here at home, that has really saved me over the last couple of months, is that I have done our own sort of hot pocket, I guess you would call it, but I have saved things like leftover taco meat, leftover barbecue pork, or extra chicken that I've shredded and made into barbecue chicken. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Burox, but it's like hamburger and cabbage mixed together. So all of that kind of meat, I will save back like little baggies of it. So if there's a small portion left, sloppy joes, that's something else. I'll save the little bit, the leftovers, and I'll just throw them in the freezer. And then what I do is I make hot pockets out of those. Or we have the same recipe that my daughter uses for the homemade whole wheat buns, and I'll try to put a link down below to that recipe. It's another large family mom blog, and we love, this is our favorite recipe. It's a huge recipe, so just be careful, you know, don't hurt yourself with it, because it makes a ton of buns. We actually half or quarter that recipe for our family, so just so you know, you have been warned. But anyway, so then we make these hot pockets out of it with all this leftover meat. Then we'll just put, you know, make sloppy joe pockets, make you know, taco pockets, make and we just use this bread and we roll it out in a circle or a square or whatever we're up for that day, and just wrap it up in there, and then we bake it. And I do go ahead and pre-bake it, and then we just microwave them, pop them in the microwave and microwave them for a few minutes. That means too, like if, you know, if maybe some of us left and went out to dinner somewhere or something, and a couple kids are left at home or whatever, they can pop some of those in the oven. They're a quick, easy grab and go. They've saved us from the drive-thru numerous times over the past couple of months, because we've had those on hand and been able just to grab them and throw them in. So that is some of our favorite grab and go lunch ideas, as well as our lunch rotation. So there you go, Teresa, probably way more than you wanted to know, but that's the answer to your question. Melanie asks, will you homeschool your foster kids when that happens, or will they go to public school, or are you required to keep them in their current school? So in answer to that question, Melanie, first of all, we are licensed for children under 6 intentionally, but our preference is children under 4, because our youngest son Jackson is 5, and we want to keep the birth order intact is our plan. So we probably won't have to deal with school as far as elementary school goes. It's possible that if they were with us, we've had foster kids for a couple of years in the past, so it's possible that they could grow into school age, and then yes, they would have to attend public school. I cannot homeschool foster children. And we've used the public school before for our own children off and on, so it's not something that bothers me in any way, shape, or form. As far as preschoolers go, we do have kind of a community preschool program through the public school system that we may need to put them into, depending on, I guess what the deciding factor on that is going to be, number one, what parents want and what caseworkers want. And if they want them in a preschool, then we will happily do that. So I'm happy to have them at home as well with me. That's what we've done with most of our children. Some of our children have gone to community preschool. So it just kind of depends on what the case planning team decides to do, and we will follow whatever those recommendations are, and we'll be happy to do that. Second part of your question, do they have to stay in their school, in their current school? And the answer to that is no. We live in a fairly rural area, and so many of our kids come from quite a distance. So they won't probably be able to stay in their current school unless they are from right in our area, more locally. And then yes, they would stay in their current school. But that doesn't typically happen. Typically, in the past, the children that we've had in our home are from, you know, a 30 to 60 mile radius, which is kind of sad, but they, you know, have to place them where there are homes available. So that answers your question. So when Monty and I did the Great Date Escape video, I asked you guys for your recommendations for good date ideas because Monty and I are not super creative. And I had a couple that I wanted to share with you. One of them was to try alphabet dating, and I thought this sounds really fun. Like A, you'd go to the arcade, B, bowling, and she just says it pushes you outside the box and helps you to stay fresh. This is from Brandy. Thank you for that great idea. I love it. I think that that would be so fun to try alphabet dating. So there you go. There's a great date idea. Another one comes from Teresa, who asked a question earlier as well. And she says, our best dates are an afternoon of mixed activities, usually a drive to find an out-of-the-way coffee shop, read, play chess, walk on a path in the woods, or stop by a really old cemetery. Maybe some eating out activity, maybe end up at the drive-in. These adventures of unplanned nature usually mean I pack several power bars in case it takes hours to find a coffee shop 3 states away. That sounds like so much fun and just so spontaneous. I love that. That's great ideas. So I'm going to end it with that, but keep on sending me your Q&A questions because I will do another Q&A video here really soon. So if you guys have other Q&A questions, I would love to answer them for you. Thank you so much for watching today, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.